Hey girl, welcome to another episode of the Hey Girl podcast. My first interview for this season. We're going to be talking to some amazing women about their different businesses and stories and just encouraging you. Today we're talking to Donna Storey. She is an author and waist bead historian. And so you're going to learn all about that and how you can connect with her. This is such a fun interview. She is just a fun person. You're going to love it. So let's get right into it. Hey girl, let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hey Girl podcast. I'm Donna Storey. I'm excited to be with you right now because this is our first interview for season 4. And I'm interviewing someone named Donna. So you can't get any better than that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Hey, this is Donna Storey. And Donna is going to be talking to us about, she does a lot of things, but we're going to be focusing on waist beads. And if for those of you who do not know what those are, we're going to talk about all of that. She has a book called Waist Beads and Western Society, a Sisterhood. It is the first book in the world with waist beads in the title, and the first to address waist beads in the Western cultural context. So we're going to talk about waist beads. We're going to talk about the benefits of them, what they are. Also, she has some other books that we're going to talk about as well for children. So let's just dive into it. Hey, Donna.
Hey, other Donna, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so great. Thank you so much. So first of all, give us a little background information about you, where you're from, and tell us a little bit before we dive into the waist beads.
Yes, ma'am. So I am a native Baltimorean.
Okay.
I'm from Maryland. All of my folks are from Maryland, so we definitely got that Baltimore culture thing going on. I don't claim the wire, so
Okay.
let's not even bring that up. A little bit of history. No, not at all. So, so a little bit of history about me. I went to college for business admin, and I got out and was like, so what to do? So I started trying to figure out what to do with this degree because I was like, okay, which way in business should I go? So I just started doing the typical 9 to 5, but all the while I was like, I need to be doing a business that I can actually have my passion and my purpose in. So I decided to go on a health journey. And on that health journey, I wanted to gauge my weight loss and my weight gain. So I initially started waist training.
Okay.
Which worked. Very painful. Okay. And I was like, there's got to be another way. Like, there's got to be another way. So I stumbled across the ancient art of waist beading through just doing my own research and learning better ways to eat and process emotion and release stress that came from our culture.
Wow.
Our cultural background. So I stumbled upon waist beads. And because this was a while ago, this probably was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
It was kind of hard to find someone to make them for me. So I said, I'll do it myself. So as I started doing it myself, I started being able to track my weight loss and weight gain a lot better because if you overeat, they roll up. If you undereat, they roll down. And if you're not making any progress, they stay exactly where you tied them. Okay. So I started like singing these praises. Everybody, this is so great. And they were like, well, sign me up. So that's when I opened up my online boutique, which is a component of my entrepreneurial journey. And I felt like the benefits of these string and beads needed to be voiced to the world. So I hopped on YouTube, and it was like one of those things. I woke up and the video was at 100K.
Wow.
And so great. And not only were people interested in purchasing, but they were like, well, what do I do? So I was like, now, I could tell everybody one by one, but my business training says put them in a group.
There you
go.
That
started my women's womb wellness classes that I've been doing for the last 5 years, which feeds my spirit. And that's how everything started. That's how everything started.
I love it. I love it. All of it. Okay. So let's go back to when you first started doing the research. So you were doing some regular waist training. So what were you doing?
Yes.
Wearing like the tight corsets? Like what were you doing before the beads? Okay. And you're like Too
And they
painful.
worked.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It worked.
I was snatched, honey. I was snatched. But it hurt. It hurt.
She's like, this hurts. This hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did some research and you found out about waist beads, waist beading. So tell us a little bit for someone who's like, I don't even know what that is. What are
Sure.
waist beads? Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay, so the first pictures of waist beads in history are on the Egyptian pyramid walls.
Mm.
So when you go and look back, and I think it's the Pyramid of Dendra, if I'm not mistaken, they got all of these beautiful women holding offerings for gods and goddesses and all of these things, and they're wearing waist beads. So that was the first, documented picture of waist beads. Which, if you are not familiar, that is nylon cord with all types of beads. It could be adorned with crystals, different shells. Cowrie shells are usually also adorning the waist beads, and typically just beads.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that beads were actually a form of currency way, 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 way back when. And so initially, when I started learning about them, waist beads were worn by women, and also they were tied around the babies when they were born. So girls would get one color and boys would get another color, because in a lot of African cultures, you don't just get a name. You have to go through your naming ceremony, which is a big deal.
Right.
And then once they were named, the little babies would wear them so their moms could track if the baby was growing properly. If she was feeding him or her good enough. This is prior to, the children's checkups and all of those things. This is way back.
Right.
Way back. So when they had felt as though that the baby was gaining properly, growing properly,
right,
the beads were taken off of the little boy and they were left on the little girl.
Okay.
Her beads would follow her through her adult journey. Just sizing as she grew. Sizing. And then she would get a all new set when she reached like young womanhood and she came on her cycle.
Okay.
And then she would get another set when she married, because she would have to remove all the beads that anybody had ever laid eyes on, because the new set of beads would be only for her husband.
Only for her husband. Wow.
And so in certain tribes, certain types of beads and certain colors would notify you if there was royalty, or this was a young child, or certain, things of that nature.
Right.
So I was just like, whoa, and again, they were used back in the day to gauge if you were eating good, if you were not. So I was like, oh, I'm spoiled. Sign me up.
Wow.
So that is the summarized version of the history of waist beads.
Yeah. Okay. So I have some waist beads as well. Mine are.
Oh, you're part of the tribe.
Yeah. I don't know. Now wait a minute.
You're part of the crew.
Before you say that. Mine are on an elastic. It's not a nylon, like it's they're not. See, I'm hearing that you're saying that you can adjust it, like if it's too big, that you have a tie and you can tie it. So I'm thinking, okay, well maybe what I have is not the proper type. So explain to me what a proper waist beading looks like, because what you're saying is it needs to be on a string, or does it matter?
Well, we're just talking about cordage.
Yes.
About cordage here.
Right.
So whatever cordage you choose.
Okay.
So the elastic usually is showy. That's why the book of Waist Beads in Western Society, I learned so very much, because when waist beads made their way over, if you weren't lucky enough to go to like a small African shop, or know anyone who, was an actual direct descendant of Africa, not saying we aren't, but, we so removed.
Right.
You usually got like an elastic band, and it was usually just, oh, this looks good with my outfit. And you kind of didn't get any of the information or the history behind it, and how it could be used as a tool, just as a womb wellness tool, because when you eat good, your womb is good. And that place is where we bring the children into the world.
That's right.
So it's very important for her to be very healthy, and when she's healthy, you're healthy, vice versa. So yours are not wrong.
Okay.
Cosmetic.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the difference I need to know. So if your cordage, as you called it, if you have the proper cordage, you're able to tie it. So when you put on your waist beads, are you tying? Well, you keep yours on all the time. Is that?
All
Talk
the
to us
time.
about that. So once you
Let's
have it
talk about
on,
it.
yeah, let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. So you got your beads, you put them
Uh-huh.
on, you tie them on.
Yes. You tie them
Okay,
and burn them
you tie them and then burn them. Now,
to
what?
create a seal. Mm-hmm.
Right, so that it'll seal up.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk to me about wearing that every day, and if it does move, do you take it off? Do you put on new ones? Talk to us about the daily aspect of that.
Talk about the journey.
Yes.
Uh, Now we're getting into the journey. Okay,
Now
let's get into it. So so initially there was a waist bead tying ceremony
Oh,
where you
okay.
would set intentions on what you wanted to accomplish with your bead.
Mm.
So you would go, okay, cool. With these white waist beads, were typically for like ceremony and like if you were getting married and those
Mhm.
type of things, you would be setting an intention like this is gonna work.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna, and
Mhm.
you would have an older, more experienced woman, sometimes a healer,
Okay.
to kind of tie you up and go over what that meant. Like, that means you listen to your womb and
Right.
you drink water and you mind your business and
Right. You mind your
you
business.
you take care of your kids and all
Right.
those wonderful things,
Right.
summarizing it. And then the beads were blessed.
Right. Okay.
Healer was giving you the beads with the intent for you to also have positive outcomes and
Mhm.
positive, things happening in your life. And then every time you would look down at your beads, that would be a good reminder. So we got them tied on.
Mhm.
So now you start your journey. So you start to be able to say waist beads are the gentle reminder that tells you what direction you're going. So
Okay.
the interesting part about life is when sometimes women we
Mhm.
gain weight, we don't know when. It's like you
Mhm.
have that moment and you go to put on those favorite jeans and you're like, hold on now. I could
Yeah.
fit these jeans the last time.
Mhm.
When did this happen? So
Mhm.
waist beads let you know exactly when it happened.
Mm.
So if you eat like let's say bread, those are horrible for
Mhm.
women's health and all of
Mhm.
those other things linked to that. You wouldn't have to wait to put on that favorite pair of jeans. Your waist beads would tighten immediately.
Mm.
Not to the point where you were uncomfortable, but to the point where you would notice it like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
this is what happened to me. Okay, well maybe I need to take it easy.
Mm.
Maybe I shouldn't eat toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and a biscuit to
Mhm.
sop up the gravy with for dinner.
Right.
Maybe, maybe I could just,
Maybe. Mhm.
maybe I should have, maybe some potatoes and some eggs and fresh fruit, and then I'll have
Right.
a sandwich. You would be able to
Right.
gauge. So that is the journey.
Uh-huh.
So it would start to program you, and you would remember, like, ooh, they kind of rolled up. So, and that's the
Mm.
journey of the waist beads. And then, a lot of girls wake up one day because they've had
Mhm.
anything you do for like 2, 3 weeks is a habit.
Mhm.
You wake up one day and your waist beads are laying on your hips.
Wow.
And you like, did I do that? Yes, ma'am, you did.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, you did. So that's the journey.
I love
That's the
that.
journey.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, that's great. Okay, see, I'm just getting so much insight because I didn't know. And they do.
Yay.
So if they're riding up, okay, it's like Donna, something, you're not
Yeah,
doing
if
something.
they get to under the booby beads,
Uh-huh.
it's
That's a
time to
problem.
drink some water. It's time to
Okay.
drink some water and eat some salad.
Okay.
Gotta put the coffee and the juice down. Gotta put
It's
it down.
time to drink some water, okay? Because
Yeah.
we're not doing under the booby beads. They're supposed to
Mm,
be on your
mm-mm.
waist. They're
Yes,
supposed to be on your waist. So.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love this. Okay, so you also have a support group for this. Is this something that you do with women who talk to us a
Yes.
little bit about that?
Yes. So these are my classes. I call them my classes because it's
Mm-hmm.
women's womb wellness.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't just talk about the aspect of your diet as far as what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
We in the waist bead community consider our diet everything we see, hear, feel, eat, ponder on. So
Wow.
we're really mindful of keeping
Yes.
all of those things at a harmonious balance because when one thing goes out of whack,
Mm-hmm.
you tend to overcompensate by stemming. And a
Yeah.
lot of women don't understand that most people are, like, I'm nervous, so I'll eat.
Yeah.
I'm upset, so I'll eat. So we understand that if we have everything balancing, we don't have to rely on food as a way to feel better or to cope with stressful situations. So every other month, we meet virtually because when the video went big, I had people from everywhere. So of course, doing it in Baltimore would have been doing a disservice to me, honey.
Yes.
And this was before the pandemic, so I got lucky.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, this all started before the pandemic.
Okay.
So me and the girls have been meeting for 5 years on Mondays and Wednesdays virtually, and we have like a cute little behind the scenes chat. Okay. We do it every other month because when I first mentioned this, I said balance.
Yes.
Balance. Balance means on a month off, have your cake.
Yeah.
Have your cake, have your ice cream, because you only have one life. But then you gather and you go back at it again on the next month and you go, okay, I'm gonna eat these salads. Let's do these salads, girls. so and it's good to have a group of accountability as well. So
it's always it's always good to have accountability. And I love what you said about yes, it is. And I love what you said about your diet is not just food. No. That is so good. I mean, because it's other things that you are consuming. And so, wow. So that's really good.
It's how to process. Because we do. So I usually have like 4 guest speakers. I have a resident yoga instructor.
Okay.
And not on that. I want everyone to get into the practice of yoga, but I want you to understand how emotions is energy and motion. So you have a problem when you don't have motion to release the energy. So I focus on yoga as a way to release things that sometimes you don't want to talk about, or sometimes you do, but we get agitated.
Yeah.
So it's breathing, it's movement. So we the diet is everything, and it's also not being stressed.
Yeah.
We mommies.
Yes.
We work. Some of us are entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are really dedicated to our community. And when you are taking in all of that, you have to be able to release it properly. So
that's
definitely.
Right. That's great. So people, are they able to still join your accountability? Do you still have openings?
My gosh, yes.
Okay.
So for February, we wrapping up. February is a short month. We started at the beginning. Okay. But we will pick back up March, April. We pick back up in April.
Okay.
So anybody who's interested, I usually try to put the link up for the next class very early, so you can purchase whenever you want and be a part of this virtual experience. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. All right. And we'll put that link in our show notes so you guys can get that as well. So if you're interested, head on over to the show notes and you are able to sign up for that. I love that. All right. So now we got to talk about the book. So what made you say, you know what? I need to just write a book. I did the video. I'm doing all this. I want to write a book about it. And come to find out, you're the first person that even talks about as a title. I know there's other things out there, but you use this as a title of your book. So how did you come to that?
Okay, so in every class, people were telling me how beneficial the information was. And a lot of times they always say, well-behaved women don't go down in history. But the question is, who goes down in history? I always joke with my mom. She's like, Donna, I got 3 dogs.
Okay.
She's like, Donna, you should dust those baseboards off. And I'm like, Mommy, nobody ever went down in history for having the cleanest baseboards. So I'm I'm over here starting a revolution, Mommy. I don't got time for that. So
I love that
perspective. The question is, we have these wonderful women, but how are they going to be remembered? Me being a Leo, and this is my passion and my purpose. I'm like, I can make 1 million videos.
That's right.
I can make 1 million internet posts. But this needs to be done the right way. I want this movement to outlive me. So I needed to write about it, and that's what I did. And then also with my business background, and because I'm so passionate about this, I was lucky enough to have the platform before I had the book, because shout out to all the authors that is getting it out the mud. Yeah. Because this is if you're an author, it's a hard job. So I was able to introduce my already established audience to my book, which they were getting the information from me. They were coming to the classes, but it's nothing like having that hard copy.
Right. Right.
So
In
when
your
you need
hand.
to refer to, you can
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, I ain't gonna bother Donna. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
different time zone.
Right.
Let me flip to page 3 and
Yes.
figure out what's going on.
Yes.
So it took me about a good year to write this nice little novel
Okay.
because it's got
Okay.
a lot of content in it and also a lot of pictures. I wanted women to actually see the visual
Okay.
because a lot of women think that you have to be a certain size.
Right.
But that
No.
is not true either. So I
No.
have women of all shapes, sizes, pregnant women,
Mm-hmm.
pictures of girls wearing waist beads. So you are also inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that book and I ran with it. So I shopped it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I figured out what I needed to do to get expanded distribution, and
Mm.
she is everywhere, honey. She
Yes.
is everywhere. So
Everywhere.
yeah, and then I had to say, okay, well, I need to, once you copyright it, it lived longer than me. But now I got to tell somebody I made history because who's going to know?
Right.
So I started, right. Who's going to know that I made
Right.
history?
You gotta
So
let people know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
there it is. So I started reaching out to all the newspapers and everything. And my
Yeah.
hometown newspaper got me, thank goodness.
Awesome.
And they let it be known. So I did the novel for the adults, and
Mm.
then I was like, little girls need this because
Yes.
I always say if I was wearing waist beads from my
Mm-hmm.
teenage years, I
Mm-hmm.
probably wouldn't have suffered from some of the woman issues, cervical cancer,
Mm.
endometriosis,
Oh wow. Okay.
severe menstrual things, because it tells you what is good for, you're eating something wrong or whatever, and you start to learn health,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
dietary health. So I said, let's get it started with the little girls. That was my
Yeah.
hardest book though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
salute to all the children's. Yeah, because you got to illustrate it
Yes.
and
So
you got to
did
have the
you?
right structure.
Yes. So you had an
Hmm.
outside illustrator do the illustrations, or did you do your own illustrations? How'd that work?
Well, that book took me the longest to get together, and it's only 12 pages. Okay,
Okay.
so so I tried my hardest to share my vision with
Mm-hmm.
an illustrator that will understood and would be able to work with my price point.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I was not able to do that. But what I was able to do
Mm-hmm.
um, was to go back and find wonderful pictures of my daughter who had started
Oh.
her waist bead journey from a little one all the way to older. So I was able to illustrate my book with pictures of my daughter, and she was like, "Where's the contract, honey? I need to be getting paid." So
That's
that's
right.
our book. And now we both get paid. And I said, you really need to thank mommy for this generational
Oh.
wealth. So I was able to, that was universal. That was something the universe
Yeah.
deemed
Oh
on
my
me. Cause I said,
goodness.
why can't I find this illustrator? And it was because I should have put my own little one in the book. So
That's right.
that's
She
how
was
it
supposed to
happened.
be in it all along,
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
it worked
There,
out.
there it is. There it
Look
is.
at that. I love that. And
Mm-hmm.
you can get all these things. We'll have them in the show notes as well on Amazon.
Yes,
Books are
ma'am.
there. Everything is
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
You can also get waist beads from you. So
Absolutely.
you make them. Now you talked a little bit about the beads. You say that is there significance in the beads? Does it matter? I know you said you can use certain types, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that you necessarily have to have like a certain type of bead, right?
No, no,
Okay.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no, no.
Okay.
No, that's Western society saying you gotta have a certain this and a certain
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So I say just start with waist beads.
Okay.
Of course, I would love for you to get mine, of course.
Right, right.
But I mean, there are a lot of girls out here putting in the work. There are a lot
Yeah.
of amazing beaters that I follow, and we follow me because the traveling sisterhood waist bead
Okay.
it's a big deal. So
Oh,
I just say start with waist beads. Figure out what feels comfortable for
okay.
you.
Okay.
If you like bigger beads, if you like smaller beads, if you're a girl that wears, tiny black dresses and you want your beads to be inconspicuous, you may need a
Right.
smaller bead, or you may need them to be tied a little higher
Mm-hmm.
or a little lower. So I just say get started. Just get started.
Okay. So if we were
Mm-hmm.
to buy some beads, we're gonna buy some from you. So if we buy some beads from you and they come untied, you have to tie them on yourself, correct? Is that how that
Yes,
works?
yes,
Okay.
you can, or you can get one of your good Judy's
Okay.
to tie. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then once you tie it, you said cut and burn so that it's there and it's on you. Now, let's say you're on this weight loss journey, you have it on your waist and
Sure.
they start to fall. Do you just keep them there? What do you do? When do you take them off? How does that work?
Okay, so for me,
Mm-hmm.
I usually change beads when I'm manifesting.
Ah.
Um, so if certain colors on the African color chart represent certain things that you would like to bring about in your life.
Mm.
So when I'm trying to release something or I'm trying to manifest something,
Mm-hmm.
I make sure I get the right colors because basically the art of waist beading, when you talk about manifesting, is
Mm-hmm.
subconscious programming. So your
Okay.
womb is your place of power. So every time you look at your place of power, your
Uh-huh.
divine feminine energy center, you know that you put those waist beads on your waist to
Right.
manifest and or release or grow or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I always recommend like three. You want to
Okay.
do one higher, one
Okay.
mid, one lower. So when you start to lose or gain, you know exactly where, and you can kind of
Okay.
correspond that with what you ate. Like, sometimes pie will mess with the fupa.
Right.
The sugars will start to bring on the fupa, but the
Yes.
bread will start bringing on the midsection sometimes for
Yes.
different people. So you
Okay.
get to know exactly where things go. But talking about tying, that
Mm-hmm.
was like one of my fourth videos that I
Okay.
made because
Okay.
I was shipping them everywhere, and ladies was like, "What?" It was like my
Yeah.
nails, or I
Right.
don't know how. So I'm like, "Listen, I'm gonna make a video. You gonna feel like we tying them on together." So
Okay.
I do have a YouTube video that's doing pretty
Okay.
good, just
Good.
about how to tie, where to tie, and all of these things.
Okay, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We got all that down there in the show notes. We got a lot for y'all in the show notes. So make sure you
Oh,
hit
that's
the
so
show notes
cool.
so
This is so
people can
cool.
see all that. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
listen, thank you so much. I am just learning so much because I see people, my sister, she wears them and I see different people
Mm-hmm.
wearing them. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I've heard about them being used for weight loss and but I just didn't connect it or figure out, okay, well, how are you doing that? What are you doing? Are
Sure.
you wearing them tight around your waist so they'll cinch? I didn't know how it was working, but this
Yeah.
really definitely gave me some insight on
Mm-hmm.
how to do that. And having a support group and having the
Oh,
videos, I think that is so helpful. And now even a book where people can reference and see where the history of
yes.
the waist beads and our culture and how you can connect that with what you're doing today and sisterhood and all that. I think that's beautiful. So everything is in the show notes, and I want you guys to follow her. We'll have her link to Instagram down there as well. And do your thing, Donna. I love all of
Thank
it. I
you.
think it's so empowering,
Thank
and
you so
I just
much.
appreciate you sharing all of
Oh,
this with us and just being so
thank
free to
you.
share it because you making
Mm-hmm.
those videos that's a big deal for some people, like, they don't
Oh,
know what to
thank
do,
you.
so thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if I can leave with anything, if I want to share anything with your
Mhm.
amazing audience that you've created this safe space, first and foremost, thank you
Mhm.
for
Oh,
being one of those women that had something to say and you are going to hear it by any means necessary.
that's
Thank
right.
you for being one of those women, Miss Donna.
Thank you.
And if I can leave everybody with just one thing for 2023, I would say that the sister circle is so very important
Yeah.
with or without waist beads. It is so very important because a lot of times we as women feel like, it's just us going
Mhm.
through certain things alone where
Mhm.
nobody understands and nobody cares. And
Right.
that is so, so untrue. So for
Yeah,
2023, check on your sister.
that's right.
Forgive your sister. See your sister as you see yourself. Now, she might need a good shaking,
Yeah.
but it's all with love.
It's all with love.
It's
It's all
all with
love.
love. It's all with love
Yes.
because all of us are on a journey. So thank you so much for having me, my new sister,
Yes, my
Miss
new sister
Donna.
with the
I
same
appreciate
name.
you.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
appreciate
know.
you too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank
Absolutely.
you. And guys, all
Mm-hmm.
the information, as I stated before, will be in the show notes so
Mm-hmm.
you can connect with
Mm-hmm.
Donna as well. Donna Story, thank you so much for joining us today. And
Thank
one
you.
last thing, how I like to end, it's called Hey Girl. So I want you to talk to your younger self, and you're just going to say, Hey Girl, and tell
Ooh.
your younger self
Ooh.
something. I know.
Ooh, this is a good one, Miss Donna. All right, so hey girl, I don't know if you knew, but there's nothing wrong with you. All of your uniqueness, your unique voice, your unique opinion is going to be appreciated very soon. So don't silence or dim your light for anybody.
There you go. Thank you, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for another episode of the Hey Girl Podcast. I'm Donna Storey. Thanks so much. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.